the pouring sounds.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess we can. Oh, we're live. Crapping rabbits. I guess I can't get up now.
You're gonna hold that full bladder.
That sticky situation's gonna have to sit right there.
Need some water?
Very funny.
You don't have yourself water, do you?
I do not.
Welcome to episode 42 of Sinner and Saint Podcast, where Ben and Patrick are back.
We're your best friends in your ear holes for a Sunday afternoon drive on your motor scooter.
Album launches in September, so you want to make sure
people pick that up.
People like weird things.
I thought for certain they were going to be like hard pass gang, hard pass. And here we are. We're Grammy nominated musicians.
We won the Humanitarian of the Year award.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know how. Obviously, the Nobel Committee does not understand physics because we should not be in that conversation.
And somehow the Little People Association of the World has nominated us for.
They sponsored us.
They sponsored us. It's amazing.
They sponsored us. Little People Unite.
They're like, we're going to launch into the little people, the jockeys of the world. That was last episode.
Not you, Eddie. You're not little. You're just
small in stature, buddy. Small in stature. Yeah.
That's not the one. You're slight in stature. You're just big in personality. Oh, you're going to talk right over me.
Time to get a drink.
Fine.
Just a little drink.
Oh,
are you done back there? You can be replaced. Bartenders are replaceable. Gosh. Small in stature, big in ego.
Wow. Wow.
I'm Eddie. Look at me, I poured the drinks in my bow tie.
From 41 to 42, folks, you're getting the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of Mr. Ben here today. And
Oh, that's all right.
What is this? What do we got?
Today we have a Brooklyn.
Cilantro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right. Cilantro.
Brooklyn.
Happy podcast day.
Brooklyn. Happy podcast day.
There's no better listening than two men taking a drink at once. Just, that's silence. Are they killing Eddie?
Oh, that's not bad.
What's happening back there?
It's not too different than the previous drink.
It's not.
So, give us the difference.
Bitters.
This one's a little more bitter.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right.
That feels right. Nice.
You like that?
I like that.
It just kicked on. Ben gets hot in podcasting.
Oh no, I was like, it fits nice. I was trying to jacket.
Oh,
okay.
The air kicked on at the same time, so I just thought you were.
That's what that sounds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I'm comfortable temperature.
That's where it works. That's where it works.
It's like Miami in the 40s. This is rye whiskey, sweet vermouth. Luxardo, which we said last episode, is a maraschino cherry liqueur. Yeah. And angostura bitters. So very similar to the cocktail we had last week. The big difference here is rye whiskey is going to be spicier. A lot of people they comment that rye whiskey has a bitterness to it, like a pepper flavor almost, like a hotness, not a bitterness. Sorry, like a bite, spice. So this will be a little more bitter and a little more peppery. That's okay.
All right, so
you're
going to pull up a soccer game?
All right,
soccer. Ben's going to watch soccer, and I'm going to carry our podcast.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations to Manchester City for winning
speaking of soccer, have you watched all of season 3 of Ted Lasso? Don't say anything. No spoilers. Have you watched all of season 3?
I have.
We have not, but I'm super excited. Has it stood up? It started rough. Oh,
sorry.
Jazz Hands binge is here too.
No, because so here's what happens. We record in Jazz Hands. We record in
YouTube.
I did not realize we were coming in as fast as we were coming in.
I know.
So I only had a chance to update the show doc for last episode.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a chance to look up what crit racing was, and it's criterium. It's criterium racing.
Which
is
means?
Bicycle racing. I could.
You're still
Google
not.
it. No, I'm not going to do the heavy lifting for you people.
All right. Well,
you have Google too. I got a bottle of mint schnapps. What do I do? Google it. I've watched Ted Lasso. Yes, I've watched all of Ted Lasso. Back to where we were.
Wow. It's still playing. I can pull it off.
No, I just didn't. I heard the organ and I looked for Big Butt Betty and I didn't find what I was looking for.
Well,
so
still haven't found what
you two sucks. Oh, they're terrible.
Really, all the way terrible. Like no value.
I don't get it.
And
I'm okay with that.
They're a band that I can only handle in very small doses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I would. That is probably 90% of most bands, where I'm like, I can only handle 2 or 3 songs.
Oh, what's the 10% where you're just like, give it?
Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats.
I thought that was going to be your first. Mumford & Sons I thought would be your second.
Kaleo.
I don't know Kaleo.
Mumford & Sons, I'll throw them in there.
Okay.
Head and the Heart.
Yeah.
Kind of. I'm not a fan of their new album. Their new album's a little break from the past.
Do you like of Monsters and Men too?
Monsters and Men, Head and the Heart, Lumineers,
yeah.
Black Keys. That's my genre.
Okay.
That's my genre. That's my
You
thing.
had Ted Lasso questions.
Just because you talked about Manchester and
Manchester.
I know the season just wrapped up, right? They just did the last episode, 12 episodes.
It
was it the
wrapped
finale?
up a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, time stood still there for a second.
How many Wednesdays have you had this week?
Well, but I hear it's really good, so I'm really excited to get into it. I'm trying to get my daughter into it, who's home from college for the summer, and she's like, I don't even know what Ted Lasso is. And I'm like, how is this not buzzing across the college universities?
Well, because they're
not
dumb.
her.
They're children.
No, they think they're too busy drinking and partying. And
that does not sound like your daughter.
No, that's not her.
I was going to say, I've had limited interaction with your daughter. She's a great kid, very pleasant. She's not one of the children I hate. In fact, that list is easier, just the children I like. And she's one of the 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Some I just tolerate. Anyways.
So anyway, we told her she enjoys good wholesome things. Mm-hmm. She and I see the world in very similar lens, and so I'm like, this is a wholesome show you'd like. So I finally got her to sit down.
Yeah.
She's really funny. Like when I offer her movie or song suggestions, she rebels against it. Yeah. And then later tries it out, and then she's like, that was really good. And I'm like,
oh my God, she and I are the same. Wow. It's like everybody's like, this is awesome. Yeah, Stranger Things is amazing. And I'm like, I refuse to watch this because it's the new amazingness. And then I'm like, holy crap, guys, Stranger Things. Did you guys know? Like, we watched it 3 years ago. And I was
Did you watch it?
Amazing.
My kids watched it and they loved it.
I watched all of it.
And I caught a couple episodes and I was just like, this is weird.
We love horror and that kind of supernatural sci-fi type stuff. Not sci-fi, but like that supernatural macabre stuff. We like the dark. In fact, we've recently been going through. Oh, holy crap! Oh man. Okay, lots of thoughts in my head. Lots of expressions.
Wow.
Lots of expressions.
Here we go.
I found a short story yesterday. I've recently been going through Stephen King's anthology of short stories.
Okay.
And I just get them from the library. But it's, they're still like 20, 22 hours long, because like what would normally be a novella for a lot of authors, for Stephen King's a short story. But I discovered one yesterday where I was just like, oh man, that's good stuff. Yeah. And it was while I was out walking, and so I was like, oh no, I still have a half an hour left. I'm back at that thing up and listening again. And it was so good. I won't spoil it for anybody, but if you
go ahead, none of us are listening to the Stephen King anthology of short stories.
No.
Spoil the hell out of it.
If you want to,
we have 3 listeners.
Bonjour, konnichiwa, and good day. I don't know how to do an Australian accent. If you guys are looking for a good short story read, actually, I'm going to give you 3. Oh. I'm going to because I think that made it into my top 3 yesterday. It's called The Dune by Stephen King.
Not Dune.
Not Dune, the epic Brian Herbert. No, Brian Herbert was his son.
Stephen King's son?
No. Who wrote Dune? Something Herbert. And his son, Brian Herbert, tried to read the short story Dune by Stephen King. The 9 Billion Names of God by Arthur C. Clarke.
Oh.
Have you read that?
No. What are three of them?
Gosh. What's that? And the third one?
What are the three names of God? Of the 9 billion.
You got to read to find out.
Oh, 9 billion.
Yeah. And
that's
A Sound of Thunder by Ray Bradbury.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
one. I've read that one.
Yeah. About the guy who travels back in time to hunt the T-Rex. Yeah. So the quick synopsis of the three. A Sound of Thunder is by Ray Bradbury. It's about a guy who finds a travel agency. And Ray Bradbury wrote a lot of sci-fi. He wrote Fahrenheit 451 and the Illustrated Man. And he, this guy goes to a travel agency that gives you hunting expeditions where you go back in time and kill a T-Rex, and then you can have it mounted on your wall or whatever. And about the consequences of traveling back in time to hunt a T-Rex. The 9 Billion Names of God is this monastery employs 2 engineers from a New York City firm that can make a machine that they only need 14 characters because they're confident that all the names of God can be located in only these 14 characters. Mm-hmm. And then it's about the debate between these 2 engineers because the monks think once you find all the names of God, the world stops.
The world, yeah, right.
And so they have this debate about but what if it works? It's not going to work. We're just here on contract for 6 months. But what if it works? We're just here on contract. So, and the Dune is about 90 federal judge in Florida who's in his 90s who is meeting with his attorney to set up some of his affairs. And he has this island not far from his house that every day since he's been a young lawyer and then before he was a judge, he paddles out to this island and he starts realizing that the island, there are names written in the sand, and then the name in the sand dies. And then he talks about his relationship with the Dune, as he calls it. And so he's really setting up his final account to preserve the Dune, where he's like, we're going to give the state $4 million and that stays the way it is. And it's a crappy little island, so the state's not going to care anyhow. This shouldn't take you more than 1 day in Tallahassee, blah, blah, blah. And really good twist at the end. So,
all right.
Short story, tell you.
Sure.
Butterfly band.
You can all now
it's in a book.
Just swing by Pizza Hut and mention the Center and Saint podcast, and you'll get a free personal pizza.
I gotta go.
That's your book. That's your book it for the day.
God, that was such a smart program.
That was great.
They wonder why we have diabetes.
Yeah, for real.
Because you fed me pizza for books. But you know what? Got me to read.
And even if you just heard about somebody talking a book, you get credit for it.
No, we had to read the book. We had to do a report on it.
Really?
Oh,
come on.
Do they still do personal pan pizzas?
I don't know. Looks like I know where we're going for lunch.
Those were so good when we were kids.
We did Domino's last night for dinner.
Oh, you lose that?
Because my son was like, they got 50% off all their pizzas right now.
I'm in!
So he's like,
hold on, I take it back.
So we'd had some events going on and we'd just eaten garbage for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And
then you decided pizza was the healthy alternative.
In my head, I'm like, I need real food.
We've been eating nothing but garbage. Let's get pizza.
That's pretty much health food. I mean, Weight
Watchers. $7.
Weight Watchers approved. Yeah. But it was good. It was pretty good. So I'm not mad. Although that's the beauty of pizza. Like pizza comes in all different shapes and sizes.
Pizza, donuts, and one more thing that we're not going to mention. There is no bad. There's only varying degrees of good.
We can't say sex?
I didn't say sex. No. Oh, crap. You got me to say it. Well done. What's under there? Underwear. You say underwear. Idiot.
I like that.
That's funny. Yeah. There is no bad. Just varying degrees of good. So pizza, you can have pizza where you're like, oh, this isn't terrific,
it's not
but
great.
it's still pizza.
Not bad.
Were you done with the Domino's talk?
Mm-hmm.
I've been craving.
Because I'm in Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. I gotta work on my Brooklyn accent.
Perfect segue.
Was that?
Perfect segue.
Oh,
could not have been better.
Did you?
What are we in Mexico? I have been craving authentic New York pizza, and
big slice.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of places that you get it right. So my wife, her birthday's coming up, and she's like refusing to participate in her birthday, which is fine.
I know somebody else that does that.
Who's that?
Her husband does that.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does.
That guy sounds like a real jerk off.
That guy.
So,
he's little people and people that are sisters.
Oh yeah.
Whether his or somebody else's.
Oh no, I hate all sisters.
And children,
especially Sisters of Mercy.
He pretty much hates everything. Sisters of Mercy.
Will
not donate to them.
Will not. Oh man, I wrote a short story once called Sisters of Mercy. That was dark. It was good. I liked it a lot. I liked that short story a lot. But I wrote that. Y'all can't find it. So, but
it'll come out in the anthology in 20 years.
It might.
Hold tight.
She's like, for the non-day of aging that we're not going to celebrate, let's go somewhere. I'm like, it feels like we're celebrating.
Yeah.
But I've really been craving New York style pizza, and I was just like, let's go to New York. She was like, no, I don't want to go to New York. I said, come on, babe, the shopping, New York in the summer. We can walk down into the subway. It's 120 and smells bad. What's not to love here? I only said it because I wanted New York style pizza. So we've been talking about this for a couple weeks. She landed on a staycation, which is super stupid dumb. And so then
staycation.
The other were you trying to go Simpsons on that?
Yeah.
Oh,
did it work?
I got there. So yep.
All right. Yep. You got there.
I
said that the other night to my wife. So,
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Good on you. You want to talk more about that?
No, let's finish off pizza.
My brother about a year ago
extra sausage.
about a year ago, my brother, who's very conservative, says,
as opposed to the other one who is not
very liberal.
Yeah.
And, my very conservative brother says, I was at a restaurant today, and this woman looked at me and said, "Oh yeah," and he's like, it was right in front of my wife, and I was like, "Are you serious?" He goes, "Yeah, the place was packed. We were at a table and we were getting up, so like just a table freed up so she and her family could sit down." I was like, "Oh, it would have been way cooler if it was different."
I'm gonna interrupt you
there. She said no.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
She said no about going to New York, and so fast forward like 3 days.
Party foul.
And what is?
Not going to New York when you have a chance to go to New York.
Oh, I know, but get this. So stuck in meetings all day. 2:30 rolls around. I haven't eaten. I'm like, crap. I need to go get something to eat. And I'm like, I'm just gonna walk over to Subway across from my office. Well, on the way, there's a little sandwich board on the sidewalk for a pizza place. And I was like, I'll duck in here and see. Oh, it was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
It was not. So in New York, they might have 5 or 6 pies out.
Right.
And they grab the slice, and it's like al dente. And then they heat it up the rest of the way.
Yeah.
This guy had like 14.
Ooh.
Like all kinds of pizza.
Wow.
And I was like,
what is this? Come on, give us a name.
I can't.
Really?
Can't do it. Because I want it to be my secret.
I'll get it offline.
You'll get it offline. But it's downtown Indianapolis near a Subway, so there you go. You go from there. It's called Pronto Pizza.
He couldn't keep it.
It's so good. And so I was like, I saw it. It's huge. And I was like, slice of cheese. That's all I want. So he throws that slice of cheese in there, and I'm like, $4 later. Oh, dude, I was so happy because it was perfect. It was crunchy on the bottom. You could fold it. Oh. So I bring this up for the YouTube crowd. I'm going to get fatter. Now that I know that this place is across the street from my office, it's going to become a habit.
Start watching.
And so I just want to let you guys know the shirts will get tighter.
Nice. They like that. The fans like that. That's going on the fans only The fans only page is gonna.
They still will not sell me a fan.
They won't.
They'll sell me pictures of feet. They won't sell me a fan.
Do you keep asking for a bladeless fan?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
I use a lot of emojis in the discussion.
I had a thought. Hold on, it's gonna come back around.
The Simpsons.
I don't know. It's gone.
Pizza, traveling, New York City, shopping.
Oh, that's nice.
Conservative brother, liberal brother.
I've been to Manhattan twice.
Okay.
Which is all of my New York travel.
Okay. What part of Manhattan did you go to?
All of it.
Okay.
We did it all.
Okay.
Literally, we did it all.
Yep.
I love New York.
Mm-hmm.
I love New York. Somebody was like, "Yeah, but Chicago's better," and I'm like,
"False."
No, Manhattan's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I like Manhattan.
Yeah.
I like Manhattan. I want to go out. I want to do more travel because I want to go spend time in Brooklyn, the Bronx. We spent a little bit of time out in Harlem. Columbia University is up there, and we spent a little time there.
Upper West Side.
Upper West Side. Yeah. But yeah, it just was amazing. Speaking of Chicago, this is weird. So sorry, random jumping all over the place. I
haven't been.
Well, that's okay. I caught a little bit of Sports Center the other day, and they had a White Sox highlight game, and they were amazing uniforms. They had the White Sox, but they had Southside, and they were these pinstriped black uniforms with white pinstripes. They looked. I'm like, that is classy.
They've had those uniforms for a long time.
Have they done that for a while?
Black with the white pinstripes.
Man, it was sharp looking.
Yeah.
We got to ride the bikes up to Chicago for a White Sox game.
Yeah, that's not a bad ride.
Let's do that.
Let's
do that.
Easy.
I took a ride the other night with my wife. Wanted to go for a ride, which is weird. Usually my daughter is the one who's like, "Let's go for a ride."
It's weird because your daughter asked me to take her on motorcycle rides.
You should.
And I say no.
No, take her on a ride. She enjoys it.
Nope. I have a firm no women on my motorcycle but my wife.
Well,
my wife has a firm no women on my motorcycle but my wife rule.
Well,
it was so funny because
Jen is a kid. Even though she's 19, she's a kid.
My wife would still say no.
Fair enough. She every once in a while is like, "Dad, let's go for a ride," and she doesn't want to go on a far ride. It's usually 50, 60 miles round trip.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She enjoys it. She asked me. My wife does not often ask. I usually have to ask my wife to go for a ride. And but she wanted. We had a free day. She took a day off recently, and she's like, I thought we'd go for a motorcycle ride, and I was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." So I offered her the first option because usually it's ride out, go to a park, or go to a particular place, a unique place to eat that we can't get locally. Do that and then ride back. And so I offered her that. It was an 86-mile trip out, and it was a unique park in Indiana. And I was like some waterfalls, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be awesome."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't want to go that far."
What was the park?
It was I don't know. It was down near Shelbyville, Indiana.
Clifty Falls.
No, not that far. Around Shelbyville. Anyway, she was like, "Oh, you're nosing the okay." She shot that down, so I was like, "Okay, what else?" The best I could find was there's so many green towns in Indiana. I can't remember what this one was. It was further up north of Tipton. But it was like a glass museum.
Greendale.
I don't know.
Greensburg.
Greenwood. Yeah, sure. Not Greenwood South. But anyway, so
Potter's Green.
But it was a Friday afternoon, late afternoon, so it was kind of like rush hour. So every Indiana U.S. highway was bonkers crazy. Yeah. It was not a great time for a ride. And then you ride, so anytime you're behind an 18-wheeler, you just get dirty air. So I zip around them, and the bike I have does it in a shot.
Sure.
And she's like, "I don't like when you pass." And I'm like, "But it doesn't take a second."
Yeah.
That bike flies.
Yeah,
I can go from 55 to 95 with just a flick of the wrist.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
And that's 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, 40 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour.
40 more miles.
Yeah, more. But anyway, we rode up there, and then we came back through Tipton and grabbed an ice cream cone. And,
oh, yeah.
And it was like, It was like a time warp because the prices of an ice cream cone in Tipton, it was funny. It was dysfunctional. I mean, there were like 20 teenagers working, and half of them were just standing around staring
Sounds
at
like
the
kids.
wall.
Sounds just like kids. Worthless.
We stood there for probably 10 minutes.
71 minutes.
Before anyone helped me. And I'm like, there's so many people just standing around looking at the wall. Like,
And then they were probably like, what?
Like, what do you want? And so I told her what I wanted, and then she did it wrong. She put them in cups. And I'm like, I think those were supposed to be cake cones. And she's like, oh yeah, I forgot. And so she just put the cups on the counter and then went and scooped more. And I'm like, you just scoop from the cup back into the...
No, I'll just get you new ice cream.
But the prices, like I leaned over to my wife at one point and I'm like, we just time warped into the early 2000s where you could get a cake cone large scoop for $3.
What's a cake cone?
Cake cone? It's the square bottomed cone.
Yeah.
Those are cake cones, not as opposed to a waffle cone.
Yeah, I know the waffle cone.
Or a sugar cone, which is the smaller manufactured cone.
Oh wait, then I don't think I know what a cake cone is.
Cake cone has a flat bottom.
No, but but what you just described as the manufactured is what I would have. What I'm thinking.
So a waffle cone's big, and they make those on site.
I know what a waffle.
Okay,
cone
so a
is.
sugar cone is the smaller version of that, but is usually commercially manufactured.
Oh, okay.
So it's anytime you get a smaller cone-shaped cone.
So it's on a flat bottom.
No,
the flat bottom is a cake cone.
The cake cone.
So it's like a normal just ice cream cone, like a Dairy Queen cone.
Yes.
Okay.
So we and the bottom of those are super crunchy.
Okay.
Because they have the extra grid in the bottom.
Yeah, it's like the
right. So we
structural engineering of the ice cream cone.
My mother used to call those bugs.
Bugs.
Like when you push the ice cream down into it, it gets like it's the sweet, creamy crunchiness. And we used to call those bugs because it crunched like eating a cockroach or something. So we'd call that the bugs.
Hell?
I don't know. It was a weird family thing. And so
you also could have been that's the rock candy part or the bugs.
It was bugs.
Come on, Kate.
It was bugs. So I know. So it's the fun thing where I'm like, are you going to eat your bugs? Because if not, like that's the best part of the cone. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's what we do.
You want to hear a dirty joke?
All day, every day, baby. All day, every day.
I'll tell you off the air. That's funny. Yeah, do you like ice cream? I guess you do. You just had it.
People love ice cream. People go bananas.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know.
I think I've shared with you before. And if I've shared with you listeners, then turn it off. I don't care.
Sure, go watch something else, man.
I'm going to share it again.
Go to Howard Stern.
No, nobody should go to Howard Stern.
No, don't go to Howard Stern.
Yeah. My brother, conservative brother, who's next to me age-wise.
Okay.
I'm the youngest. We would go spend a lot of time with my grandparents in the summertime. And it was great, man. We'd go fishing, we'd go to auctions, and like flea markets. We would just go find stuff to do. And but my grandpa had a hard and fast rule: 8:30 every night, milkshakes. Like time for ice cream. So
that's a dang good rule.
Oh yeah. So our first day at Grandma and Grandpa's, every single time. All right, let's go to the store. Let's buy your ice cream stuff. And so it would be no holds barred. You get whatever you want. And like, I don't ever remember eating out with my grandparents other than like my grandpa would run us through Hardee's and be like, let's go get breakfast. Don't tell your grandma. Because he had like 7 heart attacks, not exaggerating. So his doctor was like, no fat meats, man. And he'd be like, sausage biscuits, yeah, let's go get sausage biscuits. Yeah. So every meal was at home.
Hardee's.
So like
killing your grandparents since 2009.
Hardee's. Grandma's gonna die.
Hardee's, where old men go to drink coffee.
That's right. That's right. Hardee's Sunrise Social Club starts at 5.
Hardee's. You think Arby's has the meats? Yeah, right. We can just keep going.
Oh man. But yeah, so milkshakes every night at 8:30. My brother has never stopped this.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he like 600 pounds?
No, he's really trim. He's a runner. He's built like your middle son.
He's a jerk.
Yeah, well, he's built like your middle kid. Your oldest son.
The ones that you know about. Of the ones you know about.
The one who graduated recently. No, my brother's got like that runner's build, but I think he has to run to earn the milkshake. Like, I've got a friend who works out every day, and he calls it earn my bourbon. So he's like, I got to earn my bourbon. And then, so he can drink at night because he works out every day. And he hates you, but he stays pretty fit.
Hey, cheat code, you don't have to earn your bourbon or your milkshakes.
Just buy a bigger shirt.
So my grandparents on my paternal side, same way. Like, I don't know. I spent a lot of weekends overnight at my grandparents' house because they had acreage, they had a fishing pond, like same thing. They had barns, like, and I could just go and be mischievous and curious. Like we would, the things we would do. Like it just was so much fun of just like unsupervised mayhem.
Yep.
I remember, gosh, I was probably in junior high age. My grandmother went out to travel to California to see my aunt and uncle. They moved out. They were in the Navy, and so they had lived in Missouri, but he was in the Navy, so he got stationed in California. She went out to visit with them, and for some reason they're like, "You're gonna go stay with your grandpa while Granny's traveling." And I was like, "Okay." And like that week was just like bachelor pad royale. Like he taught me how to make toasted cheese in the toaster.
Oh yeah.
Which is literally toasted cheese. Like you would toast your toast and butter it, and then you would put your cheese in it and then microwave it for like 20 seconds. And like that was, and I was like, brilliant! Yeah. Like forget the skillet. Like you never need a skillet. Who needs a stove? It just takes up space.
I just need a microwave and acres.
Yeah, and then Uncle Dave taught me how to make milkshakes, because milkshakes were something you got at Dairy Queen or McDonald's or something. And like he's like, "You want a milkshake?" And I thought like, "Oh, let's go to McDonald's. We're going to town." And he like gets out the cup and then he loads the ice cream in it and milk. And then he didn't get a blender. Like there was no blender. Oh, yeah. He got out a knife and he just
hand cranked that.
Beat the heck out of that and I was like, awesome.
I can do this at home.
And I'm like, this is amazing. Like he just broke the code. Like, don't tell anyone about this.
Yeah.
And so I made a milkshake for my son a couple of weeks ago that way, and he's like, "How'd you make that milkshake? That was the best thing ever." I asked him the same thing. I'm like, "Hey, do you want a milkshake?" And he's like, "Where from?" And I'm like, "From the kitchen." And he's like,
"Whose kitchen?"
I guess so. And so like I made him one, and then afterwards he's like, "That was amazing. How'd you do that?" And I was like, "Well, that's an Uncle Dave specialty." Shout out to Uncle Dave. So yeah,
may he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. And so I'm also very impressed that you have the confidence to eat dairy and get on a motorcycle.
I don't have dairy issues. It doesn't do things to me that it does to other people.
Lucky ducky.
So yeah, I don't like. That's a whole other world that I do not understand.
There is
kind of like people that see color.
You can't see color?
No, I'm colorblind.
A whole new.
No, we're just two black guys having a podcast, man.
I don't think we're supposed to be talking about this. There is a Dairy Queen 1.1 miles from my house. It is a straight road. It is not far. I can't do it. Like, I do not have the confidence because dairy and I have such, and apparently beef now, and the list goes on.
Well, yeah, getting old.
I think these are, what do they call it when the husband puts on weight during pregnancy?
Sympathy weight.
Sympathy weight.
Yeah.
I'm having sympathy medical problems.
Is your wife putting on weight?
No. My wife has a dairy intolerance.
Issues.
Yeah. She has a dairy intolerance, and somehow now, I think because I just don't eat dairy very often, I'm like.
I'm a dairy connoisseur.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, what do you? What? Run me through your favorite dairies.
Milk.
Derriere. You drink milk?
I love milk.
Did you drink milk today?
No, but I had some cream cheese on a bagel, and it was amazing.
Smell.
No, dairy products don't make me fart. Well, no, they don't make me fart any more than anything else makes me fart. I should say that.
I don't have lactose. Oh, maybe I do have. If I have lactose intolerance, it's lactose emulsion.
I think you have a lot of intolerance, and I think lactose is probably part of it.
I have a lot of intolerance. And I'll tell you what I have. I have zero tolerance for intolerance. Hey, there's the episode name. That came right out. Zero tolerance for lactose intolerance.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me. Like, I love to drink milk. Like, my middle son will have a bowl of cereal, and then he doesn't drink the milk after the cereal. And
what is the problem?
Like, that's the jackpot. You only eat cereal to get the milk cereal after the cereal.
Who doesn't want fruity milk?
He's broken. We're working on counseling.
I saw the picture you sent me of him crying. He should not cry at this age.
He was just mad that you didn't show up to his party. He thought you really appreciated him, and
nope,
that your actions revealed otherwise.
Yep, he's a child.
Mom, my kids. I think my kids find you curious. I don't know if they like you, but they certainly find you curious.
It's so funny because your whole family came to my 500 party, and you're like, "Yo, I can't believe the kids came. The kids really like you."
I can't believe they came.
And other people say this too. My kids really like you, and I'm like, really? Because I don't find myself that likable.
I think they like. I think they like you like a car crash. They're like,
that makes sense.
I just want to see it. I want to see it.
I just want to watch.
I want to see it up close and see what actually is.
I want to see what's going to come out of his mouth.
It's a hot mess.
Oh my gosh! I used to have a friend. It's a guy I went to college with who was very good friends with an NFL quarterback. Like, he and his wife were like best friends with this NFL quarterback and his wife. And after the game, they were like, we'll just see you at the restaurant. Like, they were real kind of weird about it. And later I was like, what was that all about? And he's like, you will say anything to anyone. And I just didn't trust you. And I was like, that math. Yeah, that adds up.
That's about right.
And I was like, no, that's true. He's like, I've just never known anyone who will say anything to anyone.
I'm going to cheers to that. That's a good thing, man.
And so, but I think that might be part of the car crash of your kids are just like, we've never met a human who vehemently hates children and doesn't care about what people think about him and does a podcast with our dad.
I think there's someone who is so similar to my dad. It has very strong similarities to my dad, but is not my dad, kind of a thing. I don't know.
That's me?
You.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I have cussed out a garage before.
I've cussed out a podcast before, so take that.
What do you think I did the entire way here?
It's not even real.
I watched that woman run. We talked about it in episode 41. I don't know. I think I am a curious. I think people probably are curious like that because I'm not a normal human.
No, here's what I think. This is weird. Here's what I think is unique about us that I think people find quote unquote attractive is that we don't care.
I was gonna say, I finished it in my head. We're unapologetically ourselves.
And people live in such a cautious or fearful world.
Yeah.
Of the world around them, and we're kind of like, nah, just let the cards lay where they lay and whatever. And
and I think too a big part of, and we talked about, this was lots of episodes ago, probably late teens, early 20s.
Go back and listen to them all.
Yeah. No,
yeah. Just go ahead and do that.
Yeah. We need more listeners. Tell your friends. What are you doing?
Jeez. Have you done anything?
Shut up, Eddie!
Are you just a consumer? Mindless consumer?
But we talked a long time ago about, I went through a season of trying to find myself because I felt like I was that person. I felt like I was putting on masks for other people and who they wanted me to be. And I wasn't very good at that.
Yeah.
And hurt a lot of people along the way, lied a lot along the way, because I was trying to make people like me for what I thought they wanted, but that wasn't authentically me. So then when I just kind of stopped doing that and figured out who I really was. I think the biggest thing was I was really worried I wasn't going to like myself and who I actually was. And then I was pleasantly surprised that I really liked myself because I was like, oh, okay. I like who I actually am. I like what actually interests me. I like my thoughts. I like the way I think. I like my hobbies. I like, well, mine's this pocket. But there's a lot of things I liked about myself that I'd never really given myself the extension to explore. Because I was living that world where it was, I got to be this for this person. I got to be this for this person. And then I was also, I mean, we've talked before, I'm pretty okay cutting people out.
Yeah, right.
And being like, you don't really add value to my life. So I don't really need to be part of this. I think I remember I've had seasons of mental health professionals in my life, and there was one. I apologize if I've already shared this, but you can stop listening. I don't care. Go to Howard Stern's what he said. There was one where I was talking to my therapist, and he was actually the shortest therapist I ever had. He wasn't a little person. This isn't a little person joke. It was the minimum amount of time I ever saw a therapist. And it was during that same season of self-exploration. And he had said, do you feel like these sessions have helped you? And I said, yeah, they've helped me a great deal because I realize I'm never going to be that idealistic version of myself. And he was like, wait, what do you mean? And I was like, I asked him, I said, did you read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein? And he said, yeah, a long time ago. And I said, well, when Mary Shelley wrote that book, she wrote that he was a sewn together man from lots of different people. And I was like, it wasn't the 50s Hollywood squared off head with bolts out of his neck, Frankenstein. It was a stitched together man out of tons of people. And I said, I think that's what emotionally we are. We go through life. We have family, we have friends, we have lovers, we have relationships, and when we get to know somebody, we trade our pieces. And so we give them, like our friendship, for instance. Yeah. You've instilled things in me, I've instilled things in you. If you and I stop being friends, we don't get those back. Right. We are now our Frankensteins. Yep. And so I said, I think it's about learning how to love your Frankenstein because you have all these pieces of other people that have shaped you. And so you're now here, but the thing is, you're only here right now. So you have to love who you are right now because this is the only you you're ever going to be, because in a year from now, you're going to meet other people. You're going to sever other ties. You're going to move forward through life and you're going to trade more pieces as you go. And so you're always evolving as a Frankenstein. And so emotionally, we never are some attainable version of ourselves because we're always just who we are. And if we can recognize who we are, then that's the person we have to love. And that was the day he threw me out of therapy and said, we're done. We're done. So he was like, you get it. I can't help you further than
I've taken you as far as I can take it.
And he was, and after I said, and that was a much longer conversation than what I just paraphrased there, but he was like, this is our last session. He's like, you get who you are. Right. He's like, if you have the confidence to move forward in that Frankenstein space, you're good. You don't need my help, and I don't have the tools to keep helping you.
Yeah, no, I loved everything you said there, and I think this is where, this is for me what I and then right, or the so what, right? Mm-hmm. So when people, I work with a lot of people who are like trying to lead or teach or something, and I'm like, so what's your and then, or what's your so what? Like, what are you leading or guiding them to? And for me, the and then or the so what would be like, but also like it's this constant, like that's not static. Like you share all that and you kind of, you get to a place where you're able to capture it and kind of articulate it, which kind of gives it boundaries. And then sometimes we just are like, okay, and now that's who Ben is. But it's not, because
it's just one facet.
Right. And you'll continue to meet other people, and you'll continue to change, and you'll continue to shift. And so it's that realization where people are like, well, you didn't meet my expectations. And I'm like, no, I'm constantly changing and growing. And if you think that who you knew me as was 3 years ago was who I am for forever, then shame on you.
Yeah.
Not shame on me.
Oh, sure.
Because I am in this constant process of evolution and betterment and awakening and awareness and relatability and sometimes I do it very poorly.
Sure.
Because of the past and the trauma. Like I think that's one of the things that I've realized that just like despite how much I grow and change and informed, like I still carry the pains and the scars of my past with me. Those still show up today.
Oh, yeah.
Despite how much work I've invested or put in myself.
Yeah.
At my worst, I revert. But I'm still constantly in this what I would say is a proactive or a growth mindset of like no I need to reinvent myself. Mm-hmm. It's what in my faith perspective of like I live the resurrection life of just constantly being reborn.
Yeah.
Because I have to, I need to, because I'm not perfect.
Right.
I'm very imperfect.
Yeah.
And I've got to continue to enter into the stories of others who help me to tap into that what I understand at the moment is that perfected state. But yet still with that, I bring in the worst of who I am. Like that, even if I heal in that space, that stuff still shows up. My scars are still visible. Yeah. So I appreciate that of like, you've done the therapy work, you've done the counseling, but yet at the same time, like you still recognize like, you don't get to a place where you're like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm just going to set up permanent residence here.
Oh yeah. And I saw my first counselor at 19, and I thought that was going to be it. Like I thought I was just going to be like, okay,
right,
good,
yeah, this is a problem to be fixed, and I'll fix it, and then I'll be on my merry little way.
Yeah, and I saw him actually I still keep in touch with him, but I saw him for a few years, and maybe a year and a half, but I thought once we got to the end, I was like, okay, good, we're done. And but his funny thing was, he's like, the worst part of my job is I never get the end of the story. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I equip these people with the tools they need, and then they just go. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'll keep you tuned in. You want to know how the story's going? He's like, sure. I was like, okay. Yeah. He's a professor at Butler now, and he and I meet up about once a year, get a coffee. Yeah. Just to check in. I pay the bill, but he doesn't bill me. Right. Like, sure. Like I just buy the coffee. I mean. Yeah. But yeah, no, and I still keep in touch with him. But I have in the new world, especially with COVID of telehealth. I started seeing somebody about a year ago because I think I realized like there's going to be periods of my life, I call them seasons, where I need a tune-up. Like I just need an emotional tune-up. Like first thing this spring, man, I gave my motorcycle a tune-up, changed the plugs. Like it's because you gotta give your bike a tune-up. Yeah. Gotta give my emotions a tune-up, man. And like I get lost in winter. Sure. I mean, I get, soccer's coming to an end. 500. Life happens. Life happens. But with telehealth, it's great, man. My therapist lives in Albuquerque, and like we schedule. We don't do the video anymore because I'm like, video's stupid. Yeah. Can we just? I don't need to see you. Like I'm still gonna pay. Like, can you just like so? Yeah, so the first few times it was mandatory, but now we just talk on the phone. Sure. But it's good. I mean, it's good to get perspective and check in on things because there's a lot of things I'm not equipped to do. Like there's a lot of things that I would love to act like I have it all together and whatnot, but yeah, you still got to talk to somebody sometime. No, yeah, you got to process that stuff because sometimes as soon as you hear the words come out of your mouth, you're like, boy, that just was not. Yeah. That's not the me I want to be kind of thing. Which is, I mean, again, it's what this podcast is. That should be the name of the. Well, we should start a new brand. The me I want to be. The me I want to be. The me I want to be. Butterflies up in the skies. Except we're gonna just use an acronym, and so it's gonna be MUB. MUB. That sounds like pube. Nah, or boob. And we're back to being 12. He's my best friend, and we're 12 years old. You want to ride your bikes to the quarry? Yeah! Who do we offend today? I don't care. I don't know. All right. What's your takeaways? I don't care. All right. So that's all right. No. Who do we offend today? I don't think we offended many people today. I think we... I think we kind of kept it personal, kept it in our stories. We certainly have
we've offended you if you've looked forward to us actually spelling out the format of the podcast. We've not spelled it out, but you certainly
crap, we should do that next time.
You certainly have heard the center and saint moments of our lives.
Yeah,
even if we have not spelled it. We will get back to being a little bit cleaner with the format.
We'll try and be better.
We're just trying to make sure the technology works.
We're probably not going to be better.
And so far it seems to be working. So
we might be better.
We might be better. What are your takeaways?
I don't want to be better. The biggest takeaway, not joking, if you were a reader, check out those 3 short stories. Those short stories are absolutely phenomenal, in my own opinion, and I'm an avid reader. So I feel like my opinion is a decent one.
Yeah.
Not that it matters, but it's a decent one.
Well, and
that's my takeaway for the listeners is check out those short stories because they are short. It's not going to take you long, and they're all 3. You can find a PDF online. So if you just Google Stephen King The Dune PDF, you'll find it.
My takeaway is, well, I appreciate the endorsement. Everybody has different tastes, and so when it comes to pizza and donuts and other activities, like
Pronto Pizza,
we all have
Washington Street.
We all have different tastes, and what someone may love, someone else may not like quite as much. And so just recognize that in yourself. The other thing, my other takeaway for this is make sure that you're tuned into a growth mindset.
For sure.
Don't be content with Don't be content with life. Don't be content with who you are, just because that maybe is who you like. Continue to be in this place of exploration and curiosity and wonder and growing and learning.
And if I can tag in on that, don't be afraid to be you.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to explore who you are and might actually be. Because like I said, I mean, sincerely, I really thought I wasn't going to like myself.
Yeah.
And that's a dark space.
Woo! That'd be my last takeaway. Learn to like yourself.
Yeah.
Man, if you hate yourself, and we all have our days, man. There are days that I can't even look myself in the mirror. Honestly, like literally cannot look myself in the mirror.
It was called episode 41. He really hated himself.
See yourself as you truly are, warts, bruises, and all, and begin that journey of self-love.
Absolutely, it's important.
That's a weird thing to say, but
it's important.
It needs to be said, particularly for guys. Guys need to understand that.
No matter what age you are not too old to start that journey.
Gosh, no, start it whenever.
Because like,
please.
We have listeners. Our demographics say we have listeners in their 50s, in their 60s. Like, does not matter. You're not dead yet.
Start the journey. You're living here, so you got work to do.
You have a chance. I'm gonna get real preachy.
Oh,
chance.
Preach it. Come on, preach it.
Do it.
Preach it. Or don't. Let's party.
Let's party.
Because the hat says so. Now I want pizza.
For you listeners, not viewers, I'm wearing a hat that says "Let's party."
Oh,
I want that pizza too, man.
I want pizza, and I want donuts, and I want.
Oh, I've got to talk to you about this.
Oh, about the third part?
No, about. Well, we can talk about it next episode.
Episode 43?
Yeah.
All right, cliffhanger.
Hey guys,
better
seriously.
Come back and see us.
So real quick, this is a shameless plug.
Shameless.
We are trying to get our listener count up because we want to get to a specific level where we can get more ad revenue.
Yeah.
Because if we can unlock that door, we can actually reach a larger audience, but then we can also
change the world
by reading ads. So yeah, if you could do us a favor, don't shotgun it. Tell one friend. Tell one friend that is like-minded, where you're like, oh, this weirdo I work with.
Check this out.
Also,
it's weird and funny and meaningful, and they talk about everything. And some of them hit, and sometimes they don't. But
sometimes it sucks.
Yeah, just
you
guys.
You can skip to the end if it's not for you.
A couple of sensitive new age guys here.
Oh, good. Welcome.
Wearing linen collarless shirts in public.
Symphony talk. Oh, that was Bach and B minor. Tell your friends about the Sinner and Saint podcast.
Yeah, bye.